CUPHEAD is one of my all-time favorite games, but I have one problem. It's too easy. So today I'm going to play through the entire game without taking any damage from any of the bosses. If I get hit once, I'm dead. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure this challenge is very easy. Start off, we're going to skip the tutorial because it is the hardest level. We're going to do that one later. And we're going to warm up with the garden plants where I thought I'd try a new trick. So here, if you don't attack the onion doesn't attack you. Didn't really work too well though. So I scrapped that idea and I just fought the onion anyways, and then did some running guns for the money and went to the shop to buy some guns. All I needed was some boomerang, balls, and scope dash, which would help me dodge attacks, and the guns would just do more damage. And with my new weapons, I blue balled this, the ball. Got him. Now there's about 20 bosses in CUPHEAD, meaning most of them are probably not going to be that special in this run. So I'm probably going to breeze past a lot of them, such as the flying bike girl person that turns into the moon, and this stupid flower. The music goes hard though. And finally we have the shallot, which is not actually a boss, but I've never played the DLC, and I figured I may as well check it out. How hard could it be? When you get to the DLC, you get Miss Shallot as a new playable character. If you don't know, she can double jump, dashes to parry instead of jumping, and gets extra health, which is not very needed. I figured I'd try her out against the first ever DLC boss, the mountain, this mountain guy. I didn't really like Miss Chalice, so I switched back to CUPHEAD. But if I'm being honest, I still sucked. I think I was just having a skill issue on this boss. I ended up being the boss. That being said, I'm gonna leave the DLC for now, and maybe I'll come back to it, but not today. Oh, I forgot to mention, I bought another gun like the pure-blooded American I am, which is known as the crack shot. Anyways, I'm done with DLC. We're gonna move on to Aisle 2. I missed the boss.
Let's go gambling! I can't stop winning!
And now we can move to Aisle. First boss I run into is Penelope Bonsuite, which is a pretty simple boss, which is why I'm conveniently not showing the parts I died at, so I guess he can do that. I guess he can just do that. So let's just ignore the fact that I skipped over 15 minutes of deaths and continue on. Hold on a sec, you see that guy? This guy sells a new weapon where you can lob bombs down onto enemies, which will be helpful for the next two bosses and some of the later bosses in Aisle 3. I forgot to grab the bombs. So how'd the bosses go? The genie actually doesn't have any reason to use the bombs. There's no reason you need to lob down, you don't really get too close to him anyways. The bird, however, has a final stage where you have to lob bombs down onto him. But as I found out, you still don't need the bombs, because you can just do this. So no, you don't need the lob bombs. So that was cool. But next we had the clown fight, which is pretty easy, but I really love this part with the platforming, the train, penguins? Our final boss is the dragon. If you've ever played CUPHEAD, you can imagine how hard the dragon was to beat. These attacks are absolutely nuts. The first part of the battle is manageable, it's not too bad. The final stage, which is also the longest, shoots fireballs that explode if they hit CUPHEAD's bullets. You fire a lot of bullets, so it makes it nearly impossible to dodge. Best way I could deal with this one is I just switched out of the crack shot and I just started using the balls. Then I spaced out my shots to not hit as many of the fireballs, so less attacks to dodge, and It's pretty easy. Well, for the most part. No! How close was I again? Yeah, we killed them. And just like that, Aisle 2 is done. But we're not done yet, because the hardest part of this challenge is definitely Aisle 2. Now we're finally getting started with the true Cuphead experiences, where the bosses are harder, running guns are still optional, and of course we're starting with the Queen Bee, which is the intro boss. A lot of the phases of the boss is just parrying, but there's also, and I don't want to get too technical, but this boss, like a few other ones that you'll see, have mandatory attack sequences, so if you do enough damage on their current phase, they have to finish their attacks before they go into the next. So here, you see any damage I'm doing goes on to the next phase, making the final phase last like 10 seconds. And that's how I pretty much skipped this final phase. There's another boss you can do this with. Okay. Oh wait, he's not hurt, right? Oh, that does. The boatman doesn't change his phase as soon as you do enough damage, so the last phase is a lot shorter as long as you do enough damage, as long as you don't get hit by the laser. This strategy does not work for every boss. For example, Squid Girl, along with stoning you so you can't move to attacks, they also change phases instantly after they take enough damage, so you can't skip that final phase. No! But with some luck and figuring out you can dodge a stun attack, it went swimmingly. Yeah, I'm kind of cruising through these bosses, but then there's the theater kid, which is a little bit silly, but not too bad. Just gotta watch out for this umbrella. And then, yeah, that's Tom and Jerry. Obviously, if it's your first time playing Cuphead, it'd probably take you like at least half an hour each. But luckily for me, so I'm pretty familiar with a lot of the patterns. But then the Robot Man shows up, which is probably my least favorite. First stage is just bullet hell, and you're like, yeah, that's pretty easy. And as soon as you do more and more damage to it, it gets harder to dodge the bullet hell. But after that phase is done, phase 2 is pretty easy because you just play safe, you just lob bombs from above. But guess who forgot to get the lob bombs? Yeah. So every time I died, I'd have to do this endurance test, which is just me shooting for like 2 seconds before I have to immediately get out of the way. And after that, you're pretty much done. You just have to do this easy part where you just go up and down a few times. Yeah, you know what? Aisle 3 is easier than I thought. Then you have the train. Aboard the train, you have a platform you can move around by parrying these little handle things. A lot of parryable things around the stage, including, I think this is soap? Does anyone actually know why there's a ghost throwing soap at me? But the first 3 stages are actually quite predictable. It's pretty simple. And then you get to the end of the train. And this one shoots fire at you from the heart along with bones that target you. Keep in mind the platform is very limited and there's nowhere to run. And to do damage to this, you have to parry the tail and then attack the heart, which is kind of in a weird spot, especially considering the limited space. That being said, I did this on my first try. Okay, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Just watch out for the boomerang, because it will hit me. I missed! I missed! That's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I just need to... That hurts. And we've done it! We've gotten every soul contract, and we can finally leave and go to... But we only have 2 bosses left. We are at the end, and I'd like to just do a small poll. Which boss do you think is harder? It's a pretty easy question. It's this guy. It's King freaking Dice. My recording was about 8 hours, but this guy by itself was about 3.5 hours. Just by himself. Actually the most annoying boss. And why is this? This boss is actually technically 10 bosses, because there's a lot of mini bosses, but you only really have to do 4. You roll a dice to choose which boss you get. If you look here, you can see heart symbols, meaning if you choose that boss, you regain health. Except I'm doing a challenge where I can't take any damage, so it doesn't even matter. The battle pretty much takes about 10 minutes total, more or less. And trying to not make even the tiniest mistake for 10 minutes of bullets flying at you is, it's torture. So anyways, I fought every mini-boss at least once to find a route to take, decide which bosses were the easiest, and I found out that these three were the best to fight. The chips here have the most predictable attack out of the first three bosses. The magician can be dodged with the smoke dashes that we have from earlier. And the last boss, well, is definitely the longest battle. It was a lot easier than the other two. And with this round in mind, I grinded these bosses, dying dozens of times, until eventually I got to King Dice. And I fumbled so hard. It's so embarrassing. I actually stopped playing the game and I went to sleep because I was not happy about that. But then the next day I came on, and after about 45 minutes of bashing my head against the wall and watching FNAF Markiplier for some reason.
My name's Markiplier.
Even messing up this dice roll and doing the wrong boss, not even part of the route. I locked in, and this happened. Yes! Yes! It's done! It's over! It's over. This is probably the best victory screen to see after about 7.5 hours into the run. That was it. The hard part was over. And now, we take the side of the devil and complete the game on the bad ending. No, I'm just kidding. But that would be funny. Spent 7 hours to get here. We're gonna at least finish the final boss. Which, compared to King Dice, is so easy. Like, it's still pretty difficult, but definitely the best boss to end on. Did not take nearly as long as the King Dice. And, I gotta say, it's probably one of my favorite bosses. Probably one of my favorite final bosses ever had in a video game. I don't think any other game has had a fulfilling final boss as this game does. And since we're past the final boss, the King Dice, I'm just gonna leave this footage of the devil fight out and just point out this is my first ever video, which is pretty cool. And I plan to do 2 or 3 more videos regardless of if I get more subscribers or not. But I'll full commit to making videos if you guys like them. So just let me know. And we did it, guys. We beat CUPHEAD without taking any damage. This was fun. I would not do it again. But maybe we'll do more challenge runs. No! I killed him after I took damage! No! I killed him after...